We have a culture that loves to pretend that women are necessarily victims, men are necessarily villains, and that on the rare occasion where a man is a victim, he's a victim of another man. Well, first let me tell you a story. On YouTube, I frequently mention that I have a difficult situation, homeless, have my kids stolen, and all of this. More than a few people have offered me to stay with them, but it either doesn't work out because they're too far away and I don't want to leave from where my kids are. I got to be here just in case. Or they're wrong for one reason or another. They have other motives. Usually, it's a gay guy thing. One example, starting about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, this guy sent me, he commented on one of my videos, just regular comment. And then the next thing I know, actually skipping ahead, a couple of days later, I got a whole lot of messages in order. Plenty of girls will know what I'm talking about because girls get this kind of thing from guys quite a bit. But the whole point of this video is to say guys can get it too, and not just from gay guys. Although this was a gay guy, I get this kind of obsessive treatment from women. Not so much anymore because I'm getting older and the world's getting colder. But I used to get this obsessive treatment a lot. Try being an escort for women one day, you'll get some obsessive treatment. But I get these messages from this guy. Message one is, hey, really enjoyed your videos. Message two, actually I just wrote them down to mention to another person. Two, you're welcome to come to my country and stay with me in a different country. Three, oh, I'm gay, by the way, I hope that doesn't bother you. Four, oh, well, just because I said I'm gay, it's not like I'm going to expect you to suck my dick or let me fuck you or anything. Five, hey, did you get any of these messages? Six, hey, did you get any of these messages? Or something like that. Seven, what the hell? And eight, fine, whatever. And keeping in mind, like I said, I just hadn't been, the personal messages come to a different place than the comments, and so I don't always see the personal messages, and I hadn't been on in a few days, and so all of a sudden I just see this list that's a couple of days apart. It's just, hey, want help? I fuck guys. You don't have to fuck me. What the fuck? What the heck? Ah! And so what am I supposed to do? Let me answer this guy. Hey, sorry I haven't been on in a while. You seem to exhibit some real obsessive character. But let me just deal with you as if I don't realize how obsessive you are and how dangerous it might be to deal with you. Nothing specific to this guy. If you see this video, you swore off my videos, but if you see them, if you see this is nothing specific to you. This is the way a lot of people act. Even women. Again, my point being that men are the villains, women are the victims, and women have to put up with that kind of stuff because men are raised with no self-respect, and plenty of women, just random women that really aren't that big a deal, that shouldn't bring such attention, they have guys obsessing over them. The better looking you are as a girl, the better looking guy will obsess over you. And of course, less good looking guys. But typically when you hear a woman complain, oh, guys are always messaging me, it means guys that she's not attracted to are messaging her. You're not going to see her go, oh, all these handsome rich guys are messaging me, I really wish it would quit. No, they're complaining because the caliber of obsession isn't up to par. Eventually, if we raise women to have more self-respect, and of course men to have more self-respect, but eventually if women have more self-respect, they won't care how good looking or rich someone is. If you're obsessive, and that's not good. Because you're half a person looking for another half a person to link up, and then you fight over this. It's called codependence. But again, the point of this video is to say men have to suffer that too if they're relatively ideal, at least in the eyes of some people. You know, I have tattoos now, I'm getting older now, so I don't get as much obsession from women. Get plenty of obsession from gay men, but not as much obsession from women, but still plenty of obsession. And usually women, they have plenty of other options, so they obsess and then they complain about obsessors, but they don't really go into it the way that men will go into it with women, or if they're gay with men. The women really just kind of sit back and they just sort of hint to ideas. By the time they're actually obsessing, if you're not accepting of that, they feel very cheated. They're like, hey, here I am, a woman being obsessed over by who? By a bunch of people I don't respect because they're the kind of people who would obsess over me. And since I have no self-respect, I could never respect somebody who obsesses over me. What kind of a loser would be obsessed with me? That's what you girls get. People obsessing with you that you could never respect. Meanwhile, I have to deal with, setting aside gay men, I have to deal with the occasional obsessed woman. And the idea is, well, you should be so lucky to have them like a horny cat just kind of raising their tail at me. Hey, you wanna get the lucky thing that all these guys online are arguing and trying to get? Do you know that my pictures have like 40 likes and a bunch of guys telling me how I'm the prettiest girl in the world? Yes, I know. I know that. You four on a scale of 1 to 10. I know you can get guys to obsess over you. That doesn't mean that when you obsess over me, I'm going to be responsive to it. So, if you must obsess over me, that's fine. That's one of the things people do when they find, as it says in, I think, the Cinderella or the Poison song, something to believe in. You find something to believe in, you go like, I want to latch onto that. Okay, but I'm not necessarily going to be responsive. And the last thing I'll say of it is imagine my situation, and this has been ongoing since I lost my kids and lost my place to stay. Typically, it's only obsessive people who offer me somewhere to be. And suddenly I owe them and all this weirdness. And so I gave up on it. Typically when people offer me, and plenty, if anybody sees this, it's not that way. I'm not referring to everyone who's ever offered me anything, because there's been a couple of people who, really decent people, but it always falls through for one reason or another. Another reason, briefly, I'll say is some people, yeah, come, you can hang out with me in my room. It's like, do you guys smoke? Do you smoke weed? I don't want to be around anything where it gives police a reason to make me a felon. I can't be around any kind of criminal activity, any kind of unprincipled activity. Because even though it's been 2 years since I've seen my kids, I've had the same mindset ever since I first lost them. Is I can't put myself in some situation where if all of a sudden they have to be with me, oh well, I'm here completely drenched in a pothead atmosphere, or some weird obsessive situation with some obsessive woman or obsessive homosexual because I needed a place to be. No, instead, I'm on the street, and plenty of people will say, well, but then you can't really help them. If my kids needed me, I would have a place to be in the context of helping them. No one helps me, certainly not the government. Well, somewhat helped. But if I had my kids, they would help. So being nowhere is better than being in some weird, uh, unprincipled atmosphere. I think that's it. Long story short, be obsessive, but I don't have to respond any kind of way. For any guys who've had obsessive men or women after them, recognize that that's one of the perks of being a woman in this culture is you get a whole lot of obsessive behavior towards you, and realize that if you are tired of just saying hi to her, just being nice, just realize the girl you send a nice message to has hundreds of messages in her inbox, or at least dozens. Imagine if you had dozens of messages in your inbox. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. As a guy in this culture, our goal is to try to get attention. Hey, someone noticed me. Look, I got tattoos. Look at me. I exercise. As a girl, the goal is to get attention and then sort it and be like, oh, let me sort through these 300 messages, and like, oh, that's all about guys I would never want to fuck wanting to fuck me. Why can't any guys that want to fuck me? So girls have to sort, and guys have to find. One isn't more morally superior to the others. Girls, oh, I'm morally superior because I don't go looking for guys. You do, for one thing. But also, it's because guys come looking for you. All the wrong guys. That's why you complain. And you guys that think women have it so good, just do your best. Cross-dress. Dress like a woman. See the kind of respect you get. Guys offering to what? Offering to fuck you constantly. No matter what you need. You might need a place to be. You might need real attention. But they're like, hey, how about I fuck you and then perhaps I help you? Not a very emotionally satisfying offer. And that's why women are oftentimes emotional cripples. No, they're not. They're so expressive and emotional. They're emotionally crippled by the fact that no one will ever really love them, so they suppose. They'll just obsess over them. Meanwhile, men just kind of get the sense no one will ever love them whatsoever. And certainly not obsess over them.